Spring is here and it's been really cool out. Actually, it's been very cold. What's a fragrance you can think of that you use for a pick-me-up and some type of comfort? I'll tell you mine. Initio's Rehab. Come back and I'll tell you why you should consider adding this to your collection when you need some type of comfort, but you gotta come back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video, Smell Good with Jenna. I'm, of course, Jenna. Thank you so much for stopping by. You know what you got to do. Like, comment, follow, and subscribe, and let's get right into it. Like I say in a lot of my videos, Initio Rehab was not on my radar. Typically, I'm not a lavender girly. I do have lavender fragrances in my collection, but it's not something that I'm typically want to discover. But one lavender-based fragrance that I absolutely love is Xerjoff Naxos. It has honey and a couple of other notes. It's to die for. But with that said, I find it a little too masculine leaning on my skin, so I go back and forth with it. I had made a purchase a while ago from Nose Paris, and they give you 6 samples. One of them I decided to go with Initio's Rehab. I tested it out. One thing that I've said this year, rather, before I tell you me testing it out, I want to use my samples. They just collect, as you know, fragrance connoisseurs and whatnot. You know that we have samples and then they just sit there. So I'm like, let me be intentional with my purchases. Let me smell the samples I have and then I go from there. So now fast forward with the sample from Nose Paris. I sprayed it on me and I was like, wow, this is actually very calming and comforting. Almost so much that I would wear this to bed. And I'm not the type of girl to wear fragrances to bed. I rather just when I'm out and about, I wear my fragrances and I wear scented lotions and body butters to bed. But fragrances, I won't spray going to bed. That's just me, not knocking anybody. But this just came off very comforting and calming. So of course, once I smelled it and fell in love, I knew I had to get it. This reminded me so much of Naxos, but not without the honey and all the other notes. But it was just the similarity there for me. I don't know if anybody agrees with that. You let me know in the comments. But there was some type of similarity there where I found this was more feminine leaning. So the wheels started turning and I'm like, I have to purchase this. So I wound up purchasing this for $175 from Fragrance Lord. As you know, Initio has increased their price along with a lot of other houses rather, to $410. So $175 is an absolute steal for a 3.4 ounce bottle. Can't beat that. This is part of their hedonistic collection where I guess they mention that it evokes, the white bottle evokes the purity of the fragrance. And I can see that just being like, as I mentioned, just calm, comforting, very just, like the word they use, pure. So I can see why that's the case. But normally we see with Initio fragrances, they're typically in a purple bottle. We're getting white for that collection. So if we get into the notes, Initio on their website, they don't list a top, middle, and base, so I'm just going to mention them. We have bergamot, lavender, cedarwood, patchouli, sandalwood, hedione, and musk. Right in the initial spray, you get lavender, but it's not lavender where it's screechy. I don't get really any citrusness from the bergamot, but it's just soothing, relaxing, calming, everything that you associate with lavender. As it starts to dry down, you get the creaminess of the sandalwood, and it was just a soft type of fragrance. Even though it projects and is a beast if you spray enough, it was just, again, calming and soft to me. Very neutral. It wasn't masculine leaning like lavender scents can be, as I mentioned, or feminine leaning. It was just right in the middle for me. So I'm a supervisor and we were doing interviews and I wanted to wear something where it shows that I'm a boss, but I'm approachable. So this was the fragrance to wear, because you don't ever want to wear anything loud. If you're the interviewee or the interviewer, you never want to wear anything too loud. But I always like to wear a fragrance regardless. So I found this was the perfect fragrance that would show, again, that I'm in charge, but I'm a cool boss. Kind of like Mean Girls. I'm not like every mom. I'm a cool mom, right? I'm not like every boss. I'm a cool boss. So I wore this and it was very calming and soothing to me, because it interviews and stuff like that where anxiety can take place. You just want to be as calm as possible. And this is what that fragrance did for me. I don't know if it did that for anybody else, but it brought those vibes for me. So I thought it was perfect. With this fragrance, it projects a lot. It's long lasting. So something for like an interview, I didn't put that many sprays on. But if you put enough sprays, even just a couple, this is something that is going to project. It's going to linger. It's going to leave a scent, your trail, or everything under the sun, and it lasts. For me, I want to say a good 6-7 hours. After, towards the end of my day, it became more of a skin scent a little bit, but it was still very, for the majority of the day, it was a powerhouse. So definitely, I think this is a fragrance that you can wear. I always, like I mentioned in some of my videos, Max Aroma always has, with the description of the notes and everything, when's the best time to wear it, in the fall, winter. I can see that because, again, it's just a comforting type of scent. But I wound up wearing this in the early parts of the spring because, especially if you're in the Northeast, the spring has been so cold. It's been crazy how cold it's been. So it made perfect sense to wear this around this time. And it's just soothing and comforting, and I absolutely love it. So as always, at the end of my videos, I like to have my layering combo. You got to start off with an unscented soap, right? Then after that, I wore this a couple of times, and I actually made not the mistake, but I was really wanted to wear this, but I forgot to bring this to my bathroom, so I wound up having this already at the bathtub. But the first time for the interview, I used from their aromatherapy line, Lavender and Vanilla from Bath and Body Works. And then another time, I used Fairy Tale. Then we continue, obviously, with a body cream. And we have Lavender and Vanilla from Bath and Body Works. And again, Fairy Tale. Now this part doesn't differ. I use the same thing afterwards. After the body cream, I use from Brown Sugar Berry Miss Independent. This is a dupe or their inspired body oil of YSL Libre Intense. So I use that. And then to top everything off, we went with Initio, obviously. And then really to top everything off was Bath and Body Works Fairy Tale, their fragrance mist. And it was just a beautiful, comforting scent bubble. It was sweet. It was calming and soothing of the lavender note. The sandalwood was creamy. It was vanillic, everything. And just the orange blossom, just a beautiful, beautiful combo. With the Fairy Tale combo, it makes it a little bit more feminine leading, which I don't mind in this sense because, again, lavender can be very masculine. So I love that this kind of really woman it up a bit. So, but you can obviously wear this however, and I find this to be a very neutral leaning scent. So would I recommend Initio Rehab? Yes. If you're into lavender scents, hey, if you're not even into lavender scents, I would definitely check this out, just because, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I typically don't gravitate to lavender scents because they're mask leaning. So if you find lavender scents to be mask leaning, I would check this one out. This is very calm, soothing, and soft, where a woman, man, anybody can rock it. Get it for a discount because $410 is steep. I wouldn't pay that much, but for $175, it was a steal. And that's my video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have Rehab, if you're thinking about picking this one up, any layering combos. Like, comment, follow, subscribe. And always remember, the best compliment one could get is that you smell so good.